Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. It is currently something like -10 degrees outside in Moorhead, Minnesota, where I live, and so I'm taking advantage of some of the hibernation time to put this video together for you. The game that I am going to be showing you today is Tiny Epic Galaxies. Yeah, that isn't much of a box or anything, but obviously I've done Kickstarter videos for both Tiny Epic Kingdoms and Tiny Epic Heroes, and this is the newest game in that line, this micro game line, and the preceding two games were a lot of fun. I hope you guys got in on those Kickstarters, because those games are awesome and they fit in your pocket and they're good to go, and you can teach them in real quick fashion and play them in about 30 minutes or less. And this is another game that's exactly like that. Of course, Tiny Epic Kingdoms was, well, Kingdoms, and then Tiny Epic Heroes was that co-op game where you were fighting against the evil forces, and Tiny Epic Galaxies now is actually like a galactic conquest type game, where each player their home planet it has been like basically stripped and is mined of all its worth, and you need to go out and find more planets to populate and take over and control. But you're racing against everybody else trying to take over those particular planets, and as always, I'll show you how the game is played, obviously. But the game makes use of dice that give you different actions. The dice have a lot of different iconography. Here, I'll just show you a couple of the dice. They have all these different symbols on each side, and of course, when I show you how to play the game, I'll show you how that works as well. I don't know what else really to say about the game other than the fact that I'm always impressed when people are able to condense like kind of a bigger theme into a smaller package, but still maintain that feel that they're going for. And you know, the whole idea of the 4X space game, there's quite a few of them out there, and you know, obviously games like Eclipse or Twilight Imperium, or I can't, of course, I'm horrible at remembering names of games when I'm on the spot. But games like that, like Space 4X, obviously, one of my favorite games, actually. They're all, you know, grand, epic games. And so I was really excited to test out Tiny Epic Galaxies and see if it was actually epic, and if it actually was able to maintain that larger game feel, but in a smaller, more condensed version. So let me show you how to play TEG, as I'm sure it'll be come to be known, and then we'll go from there, and I'll tell you exactly what I think of the game. All right, awesome. Here we go. Tiny Epic Galaxies. Alright, this is a 4-player game of Tiny Epic Galaxies that I have set up. Each one of these is a player board that represents their home solar system. And you can see that you start off with 2 of your rocket ships, and you have 2 to the side. Eventually, if you improve your home colony enough, you'll be able to unlock those other rocket ships, and so you'll be able to use those to colonize planets and use planets for their special powers. To begin the game, you do have to deal out a number of planets equal to the number of players plus 2. So in this case, we are going to have 6, and obviously with 2 you'd have 4, and 3 players you'd have 5. So we're just going to go ahead and put these planets down. Now these are the planets that are known at this time. As planets get colonized, these cards will obviously get replaced. I'm just going to pick up one of these cards and show it to you quickly, so you can see what you're looking at here. This means that it is an energy planet up here. That is the symbol for energy. This is the track that needs to be taken that allows you to colonize the planet. You place when you land on the planet, you'll place your rocket there, and then it'll slowly move to this spot when you get this diplomacy result that allows you to like convince the people that are on the planet to join you. And then here's the special power the planet has that you can use instead of trying to colonize. You can upgrade your empire. You may spend energy and culture together. Now, normally, and you might be saying, well, what does that mean? Well, normally, when you play the game, when you try to upgrade your colony, you have to spend only one of those. Here, I'll show you one of these cards here real quick. Here's a player card for green. There's this track here that you use to track both energy and culture, and like there's a disc for culture and energy is a cube. And notice how it says down here, upgrade your empire. You have to spend energy or culture. And depending on what level you want to go to, you start off at this base level. You have 2 ships and you get to roll 4 dice. That's what it says as far as what you get. To get to this level 2, you have to spend 2 to get there. So you have to spend 2 energy or 2 culture, and then you get to level 2, and then to 3, and then 4, and then 5, and 6. And then when you get all the way up to 6, you get all 7 dice to roll, and you have 4 ships. So you can see, obviously, why you'd want to do that. And also you can tell that those are worth victory points as well, depending on when you improve your colony. That's something important to remember, because we've had people win the game by doing that, and people are thinking, oh, wait, I mean, you can't get any planets, but you upgrade your colony to like that last level to get to 8 victory points, that you can do that. I should mention that the end game is triggered by somebody reaching 21 points, and then everybody gets one last turn to try to best that total. So that's how the end game is reached. But here, I'll just replace these, and so there's the 1 culture, there's the 2 energy, and put that there. And so you can see why that special ability, you can actually spend those together. You also can't skip those. You can't go, I'm going to spend 3 and just go right to there. You can only get to 1, and then so on and so forth. But anyway, so let me show you exactly how the game is played. So if we're playing the first player, they're going to only have 4 dice to roll. And we'll put the other 3 over here for right now. And we'll just roll these 4 dice. Now, you've rolled these 4 dice, and now you've got these different powers and abilities. Now, this is the most basic of the ability. This is to move. And I'm glad I got one of these, because this is kind of one of the biggest things you'll be doing during the game. Move allows you to take one of your rockets and land it on a planet. It could be on a planet already, and then you can move it to another one. And if your rocket ever gets displaced, like say you're on a colony track and somebody beats you and takes the colony before you, it'll just go back to your home colony and sits there. It can't be destroyed. There's no laser gun battles or anything like this in this game. So you pick a planet, and then you either place it on a colony track, like so, pretty simple, or then you can put it right on the planet like so, and then you can use the power that's listed on that particular planet. Then you can take that action. Now, when you do that, you actually take this die and you move it over to this activation bay, and I'll just show you that really quick. The activation bay has spots for each die. You lock that in when you do that, and you notice that there's this converter over there as well. Just so you know what that is, you can, if you want to, like take 2 of your dice and put them in the converter, and that allows you to change one of these dice to any result you want. You can just go ahead and alter it and change it to whatever die result. I forget what, I think it was that. Yeah, that's what it was. So, that is what you use that for. So if you go over here, you put that on there, I'm gonna move a rocket, and so you say, well, this particular planet is worth 5 victory points if I'm able to get it. And also, when you claim a planet, you actually get to put it underneath your colony, and then you actually keep the special ability available, and it's available for you and you only. So this, like, repeat the action on already locked die, that's a pretty good ability. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to take a move action. Now, there is a wrinkle, however. Much like a lot of games, when you take an action, this isn't a game where you just sit back when it isn't your turn, wait, and go when you can go. You, the other players, then get to decide if you want to follow the action that the player took before you. So if I use that move action, I'm going to move. Now the other players get to decide if they want to move their rockets as well. If a player decides to follow the action that was taken, then they have to go ahead and spend a culture. So if yellow wanted to, they take their culture, put it down to 0, and they could take their rocket ship and say, well, I want to go ahead and I want to try to colonize that one, like so. And then perhaps blue and red say, no, that's okay, I'm not going to follow that action at this time. So, pretty simple. Now, you do get one free reroll of dice. You can take the dice you don't want to use, and you can reroll them. But you only get to do it for free once. You only get one free reroll. Now, that reroll can happen at any point in your turn. It doesn't have to be right after you've rolled all your dice. You can activate 2 or 3 of your dice, or like if you have 7 dice, you could activate 6 of your 7 dice, and then you could take your one free reroll and reroll that one die if you so desired. If you don't like the results still, you can spend 1 energy to reroll your dice at that point as well. And then you can keep doing that and just spending energy trying to reroll those dice to try to get something that you want. So, you know, it is like a lot of dice games where you get to reroll your dice, but it isn't like the Yahtzee mechanic where you roll, and you roll, and that's what you end up with. It's kind of just up to the player as to how many rerolls they want to take. So, the other actions that you have here, I'm going to kind of fudge a little bit. I'm going to change these so we have some other options as far as what you can see. Now, I've already shown that, like, this particular action is like the diplomacy action. Now, if you have a rocket on a spot that has that diplomacy icon right there, you can go ahead and move it along. You can notice, like, this planet right here has this little economic thing right there. And as you can probably guess, there is a die facing that does that as well. And you can then move it along the track when you have one of those actions. And so these icons, you're going to see them on all the different little special powers and the dice and everything like that. And as you play the game, you know, sometimes you play games with the iconography that kind of is a little bit puzzling. But you really grab it, and it's easy to follow once you've played the game. Even on a single turn of the game, it clicks along pretty well. Now, obviously, you're using energy and culture as your resources in this game, because that's that track there with the resources. To gain energy and culture, you can gain them in some cases, like this one. You can see this one allows you to actually steal culture from another player once per turn. But the most common way you do it is actually rolling these particular, the culture icon on one of your dice. When you get that, you get 1 culture for each ship you have on a culture planet. And you can notice that there's like energy and culture on these. Now, it doesn't have to be on the track over here, nor does it have to, or it can be here as well. And you get 1 for each one, but the maximum is still 7. Obviously, if you have a die that has, of course, let me find it, the energy symbol, that would gain you energy for each rocket ship that you had on an energy planet as well. Now, the final result that you can get on your die is this, and this is the colony action. Now, if your particular place, let's just say we've claimed this one, and you place it underneath like so, and then obviously you'll build them off, build further down as you gain more and more of your planets that you colonize. With a colony action, you can do 1 of those particular one of your colonies that you control. You can take that action that is on there. Some of them you can do over and over again if you have another colony actions. Others, like stealing from other places, you can only do it once per turn. If the default colony action, or if you don't have any planets yet, or also just is to actually upgrade your empire. And that's like what I said before, as far as spending either your energy or your culture, or in some cases, like this card, to upgrade your empire, you may spend them together and to increase the ability of your colony by going up that track as well. In a nutshell, I mean, that's pretty much it. So if that one got taken, we'd go ahead, and here we have this planet. You can harvest 2 energy is the special ability of that one. I notice it's a pretty quick track. It's only worth 2 points, but that's a pretty good thing. And maybe that's one of those, like, part of your colony engine, if you will, always having that ability to gain those 2 energy easily. But as they're taken, obviously you replace them, and that's pretty much the game. I mean, then you take your turn, people follow your action if they choose to by spending culture. The next person gets to go, they roll the dice, and so on and so forth. You keep going around the table until somebody finally gets 21 points. As I said, one final turn. Whoever gets the most points, or after that last turn, is crowned the king of the galaxy. I think I read in the rules something like you leave everybody else having to live on desolate rocks and asteroids while you're the king of the solar system, or something like that. Something suitably tyrannical and empirical, if you will, which is also always nice to feel when you utterly defeat your opponents. But a couple other things really quick. As I said, you can't ever lose your spaceships once you've gained that. They don't. You can't, there's no rocket blasts or laser battles. If you are on the track and you're racing and you know somebody's going to beat you, you can remove that with a move action and just say, all right, fine, I'm not going to get that one. I'm going to move them. I'm going to go over there. And also, you don't have to activate all your dice on your turn. If you re-rolled and you got an action that you don't want to use, or maybe you don't want to use it because you don't want somebody to be able to follow you and gain that ability, you can just choose not to use dice if you so choose. So, well, there you go. That's how to play Tiny Epic Galaxies. It's a lot of fun. I love the artwork. I love the look. I love the feel. Well, let me tell you more about that with my conclusion, which I'll do right now. Alright, awesome. So you should have a really good idea of how the game of Tiny Epic Galaxies is played. It didn't take a long time for me to learn how to play the game, and it takes even less time after one person knows the rules pretty well. It takes even less time to teach somebody how to play. The big thing is just recognizing the iconography that is on those different dice. But the nice thing about everything else in the game is that, the planets have, all the symbols and everything for the different dice on them right there. And so even if you didn't know that, this one is energy or whatever, you would just inherently figure it out because of the fact that the components themselves just replicate what the results that you're going to see on the dice as well. Now, what I really liked about the game is, just like all the other two of these series, these Tiny Epic games, is the fact that, yes, it does take that 4X theme and it does condense it in, and I actually felt that way. I mean, there's some abstractness going on, but I mean, it still had the different planets with the different abilities. It has that really cool decision-making possibility. Do I want to colonize this planet and then claim it for my own, or do I want to just use the ability that the planet just gives me? I mean, I like that choice, that you have going on as far as what you're going to do. Sometimes, you can see that somebody is getting ahead of you as far as, the colonization, and so, at that point, you're just, just use the planet for what it is, and get what you can out of it before it's taken and placed under control of somebody else. And there's all those kind of interesting things going on during the game. Do I build up certain aspects of my core colony, or do I use my stuff out, use the dice that I have try to claim planets? And at each turn, because of the fact that you're rolling the dice, and it's just kind of I like that random aspect of it. You don't just have okay, well, I'm going to do this, and this. Okay, your turn. I mean, you have to actually take the dice you're given, and there's lots of games like this. Take the dice you're given and use it to the best of your ability to succeed at what you're trying to do, and sometimes you'll get a perfect roll and you'll be awesome, I can do this, and this, great turn. And sometimes no, it's a little puzzle that you have to figure out, and I really like that part of the game as well. I like games that challenge me to have a goal, but then I can't just always count on the resources being available for me each and every turn. And so, there's that old process of trying to maximize your abilities and maximize the maximum number of points, basically, that you can get every single turn. I do like the fact that once somebody gets to 21 points, the game's just over. And so there's that constant threat and that constant race of people trying to get to that, and I like when you can see that somebody is kind of climbing ahead, and so they kind of like draw, like, that's the person that you need to kind of mess with if you can, and so and yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like that because there's some weird gang up on the leader type of thing, but this is one of those games where it isn't that you can't mess with other people so much, but it's, there's that, once again, a really, really tough choice. I mean, do I try to, like, get ahead of somebody and, like, take over that planet before they do, or is there something I can do with my own colonies that I already have, or planets that I can put my rockets on to, like, do something that will allow me to catch up? And so I played this game 4 players and 3 players mostly. I played a couple games 2-player just so I could play it a couple games 2-player. I thought it worked really well with all players. I mean, obviously 2 players, it's more kind of like, even though, like, you only have 2 extra planets, according to the number of players, at any time. It didn't seem like there was that much of a rush, to grab stuff, as far as when there was 2 players. I think the sweet spot is with 3 or 4, personally, but then again, I personally am, I'd rather play with 4 people over 2. And even though I have been playing a lot of 2-player games lately, that's more out of necessity, just because of the fact that I haven't been able to always get a large group together. But, so if you're on the fence about playing 2-player games, I think you'll probably like it if you are a person that enjoys, the 4X theme. And I think if you're, like, a person that enjoys that theme, and you have a ready group of 3 or 4 people, I think this is something you're definitely going to want to own, just because of the simplicity of it. Now, is it truly epic? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a nice little name, and it's neat that Gambling Games has been able to do what they do with these games. Is it epic in the scope of, like, a giant 6-player game of Eclipse or Twilight Imperium? Probably not. But is it epic in its own right? Yeah, it definitely is. Because, as I said, it is a mark of a really amazing game in a way that they can take a grand theme. That usually if I say I'm going to play a Space 4X game, people immediately think, oh my gosh, there's going to be like 76 tiles and all these ships flying around and, laser battles and rockets and planets exploding and all this stuff going on. And no, actually, come here and sit down. We're going to be able to play a Space 4X game, just the 2 of us, and we're going to be able to play it in about a half an hour. Let's go. And I think that's really cool. And it's a mark of a pretty good design as well. So, there you go. That is Tiny Epic Galaxies. If you have any questions about the game, please ask away. I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. And as always, I greatly appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video. So until the next one, this was Undead Viking telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye.